All right, what's going to happen now? I don't know. Kansept Knives, Jelly Jerry design. What is this all about? What is this? Besides damn good looking, kabang. And what the heck is this? This is the K1011 Alpha 2 in S35VN Kansept Knives logo. And we've got Jelly Jerry design on the back. It's the Delta. It's stone washed. It's titanium. It's a frame lock flipper. And dare we take this apart? I think we will. We'll take it apart just for shits and giggles. But here we've got, this looks like this is probably titanium here. And of course, magnets are not going to help because I'll feel the blade below it, but we'll check it out later. Yeah, this is a prototype. So then you guys can criticize the hell out of it and hope it was something different. Right now, I think everybody that's looked at it has said they think it's a great looking knife. I like the design. I like these milled grooves here. I like that G10 carbon fiber mix. You know, they layer in and then machine it. And it's contoured titanium. And of course, the carbon fiber inlay there. They didn't do it on the back, and I've asked them to make me a special one just to do that. No, but that's, I'm joking there. But I did say, yes, if you're still in the, in the prototype phase, I would appreciate it. Even if you just put a strip along here, but you could actually make it a bolster lock, and many knives do that, by the way, and this is by Jelly Jerry with Tucson, by the way, the Monarch. So yes, this is the 223. And so yes, you can do that on the back, okay, and make it like a bolster lock. That's all possible. And so I said, yeah, why don't you think about it? So we'll see. Oh, by the way, talking to Jelly Jerry, koozie knives, Raven, so he's done that in that kind of what they called space board. I call it a micarta look. It doesn't feel like micarta, maybe polished micarta. So there you go, but this is Kansept Knives. Ooh, it's a good looking blade. And so this is not the final production. And I had some recommendations. First of all, jimping on the flipper tab. And of course, Jelly Jerry, I messaged him back and forth, and he says, the reason this sticks out here is because he's going to put jimping. They're going to put jimping, or it's his recommendation, because they're going to make this into a front flipper, okay? So not only will it be a normal flipper knife like this, and ambidextrous thumb studs for flicking it open, but it will also be a front flipper knife. So imagine that. Yeah, I really like the design. His designs are really enticing. So I think that Joyce at Kansept is making good choices when it comes to partnering with certain designers. You got a lanyard hole it's integrated into the back spacer, so that's nice. I don't see any machining along here, and don't know if that would look good or if that would be an unwanted distraction, so I don't know. Pocket clip looks appropriate and proportional to everything. But check it out. I mean, the pivot, I like that. You have access from the front and the back. Looks like the inlay here is not adhesive, that it's held in with screws, which makes it to where it can be removed if you wanted to anodize the rest of the knife and put the inlay back in. So that'll be interesting to see. This is not a terribly huge knife, but it's not small by any standard. It's 5.3 inches, and let's see if we can get a take on there. I mean, 5.3 ounces, I think. 3.5 inch blade there. but the cutting length is close to 3 3/4. You know how that bolster swings down there, so you're really looking at a cutting length at about 97 millimeters, and overall 8.5 inches. So it's bigger than the Paramilitary 2, definitely heavier than that as well. 21.5 centimeters. So it's a pretty good sized knife. And as far as how heavy or how thick the scale is, 0.51 at 13 millimeters. That's not terribly bad there. That's not all that thick. But you're looking at 4mm blade stock at a 0.15 of an inch. So that's big old thick blade stock. And if you've already noticed, yes, it's a slight recurve, which gives you style points there and makes things more difficult to sharpen. But if you have the right attachment or you have a round rod or something like that, you can do that. And then you've got this little front choil area, which is really not a go forward area at all. But, you know, for sharpening purposes, it works well. Top swedge here, you know, the tip here, pretty thick, pretty hardy there. Plunge that I can tell, looking through my camera, looks pretty good. There's your lockup, by the way. It's about 35%, so that's pretty hardy. It's centered, and I got no blade player lock rock on this knife at all. Take note of the balance. That's not bad. And the pass-through's easy to access, and the knife drops. It's pretty quick over the detamp ball. By the time the flipper tab hits me in the thumb, it's already over. And the drop is very nice, especially since I haven't done anything. This is just out of the package they sent to me. So nice finish there, finishing touch with the backspacer. I like it. I wouldn't want it with an open design. So yes, the backspacer I think is necessary. The hardware screws, they are what they are. Nothing terribly high-end looking, but you know, about par for the course. And let's throw it on the scales, because weight is a situation there. 5.4, almost 5.5 ounces. I was saying 5.3, so I was a little off, at 155 grams. And you can compare it to, like, the Bestech Swordfish is definitely a bigger knife. Definitely a bigger knife, but, well, Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is just a tad bit smaller. Just a tad, though. Pretty close. But 3.8 ounces, 5.5 ounces. Not quite 2 ounces heavier, but it's close. Nice look. I like the design. I like the fact that he brought these little fullers here over on the backside as well. Now maybe you can see how that kind of runs off that edge. Maybe this whole thing needs to be pulled up just a little bit to keep that from rolling off of there. But you see how that comes to play there. And you can tell when this lock bar is engaged, you can feel a little bit of sharpness right there where that is. Pretty intuitive. You know, I'm not a big front flipper guy, and if I am, it's not a frame lock front flipper I'm big on. It's more like a liner lock, so like the Metamorph or the X-Arc, Civivi X-Arc, the Real Steel Metamorph. Those are easy to flip because they're liner locks. They have a very light detent, but this one you can roll around all the way with your thumb because of the way this is cut away up here. So you can just slowly roll it around, and you can stay in contact with that blade all the way around. So you don't have to, you know, necessarily flick it and like that. And the problem I have with frame locks being front flippers is I tend to get my fingers right there. I'm putting pressure on that lock bar, and it's inhibiting this. And I want a really light release when I'm front flipping. but then I have to have a precarious hold on the knife. And a lot of people, the knife just goes flying off out of their hands because they don't really have that good a hold on it. So it's one of those things you're going to have to practice on and kind of get good at. And with jimping here, then your traction will probably improve to the point where this will be more intuitive. But it's not for me, and it's easy to roll it around that way, though. The flipper tab itself, well, let me see if I can find, okay, here's his Raven by Koozie. Look at the difference in the size of the flipper tab. You know, so how about the knife he did with Tucson? Look at the difference in the size of the flipper tab. This could be way, way smaller as far as I'm concerned. I'm not trying to be a knife designer necessarily, but you know, after you handle a billion of them, you kind of start getting your druthers. And my druthers are a more muted flipper tab, okay? And this is another design of Jerry Jelly as well. Muted, but easy to kick, okay? That's fine. It's not a problem. I don't need that big of a flipper tab to have, you know, control there, okay? So no, that's fine. Some jimping on it would be fine, but it could definitely be thinner this way and then not as tall as well. So it could be a very muted one right up here. And then that'd be fine. When it kicks around the other way, then it'll be so small that it might be just barely above where this bolster is. So it may change the contact that you have with your thumb. Okay, but I think it's worth the sacrifice to have a more muted looking flipper tab. But if you look at the knife overall, it's a great looking design. It really is. Blade to handle length's pretty adequate right there. And the design flows, considering, and if I put my finger here and say, what if you just ground off all this and didn't make it a front flipper, what would it look like? And I don't think it would look stupid. I think it would look fine. I think it'd be a cleaner design look, but then it's not going to have a front flipper. So this is a decision a designer has to make when they think about it. And if he feels that there's a strong market for a front flipper in addition, you know, to be added, then okay, then that's just an intentional design choice you're making. I like the look of this. I do like this material, and I imagine they'll probably offer more than just the blue and carbon fiber, maybe other colors like a red mix with carbon fiber or etc. So yeah, that's going to be nice. And if they do it on the back, then I think I'm in regardless of whether he deletes the front flipper or not. If he does the matching back, then I'm definitely in for this one. I really like it. I like the look of it. It's a great design. Executes really well. Got good action. I'm sure it's ceramic bearings on here. Well, let's see which side we're going to roll on here. Let's see which one actually comes apart easier. That's tight. Tight fit there. Okay, we've got, yes, we have this screwed down into the to the scale from the inlay, and then we've got ceramic bearings. Of course, there's our pathway for our blade stop. There's the blade and the stop itself. Let me see, this is, okay, this is weight relieved in here. hardened steel insert, ceramic detamp ball, and of course then we have our pivot. All right, nice steel washers in here with a little race in there for the bearings to follow, so that's nice. Put this back in. Bearing. And that should be it. We're good. All right. Feels good. All back together again. Centered, no blade play, so we're in good shape. The Delta Jerry Jelly design. I like it. Coming soon from Kansept, but this is a prototype. Feel free to put your comments in there so the people at Kansept can take note. If you visit their Facebook page or their Instagram, they're always looking for customer feedback from other enthusiasts. So take part in that. I'll give you the links to their Facebook and their Instagram pages. So you know what we do. We love them knives. You guys stay sharp.